Imagine a massive stone castle perched on top of a windy hill, its towers rising like jagged teeth against the sky. To us today, castles look romantic, like something out of a fairy tale. But back in the Middle Ages, these things were built by geniuses, and also by people who were just a little bit unhinged. One of those people was a castle architect named Oswin. Now Oswin wasn't the heroic, noble, wise engineer you'd imagine. No. Oswin had wild hair, big bug-like eyes, and a habit of talking to stones like they were his best friends. But despite his eccentric style, he designed one of the smartest defensive castles ever built. The first thing you noticed approaching his castle was the main gate. It wasn't just a door. It was a trap. To any enemy, it looked open and inviting, but if you got too close, the gate would suddenly drop from above like the teeth of a giant beast. And if enemies did manage to get inside, the ceiling above them had holes. Not for decoration, but for pouring boiling oil, throwing rocks, or occasionally, for reasons no one has ever fully explained, dropping a goat. No one knew if the goat was a weapon, or if the goat simply had bad timing. But still, the message was clear: don't attack this castle. The walls were another stroke of genius. They looked slightly slanted, and most people assumed that meant they were built incorrectly. But Oswin designed them that way on purpose. If enemies tried to throw rocks or shoot arrows, they would simply slide or bounce off. Meanwhile, the archers inside the castle could fire back just fine. It was simple, effective, and a tiny bit petty. Oswin liked winning, especially if the enemy looked stupid while losing. Inside the castle courtyard was where things got even more clever. The entire layout was a maze. Turn left and you might run into a dead end. Turn right and suddenly there's a staircase going nowhere. The ground wasn't even level, it sloped just enough to make running difficult. So if an invading army got inside, they wouldn't be able to charge. They would trip, stumble, crash into walls, and get picked off by defenders watching safely from above. The castle was less like a fortress and more like a medieval funhouse, except much less fun for the people trying to attack it. Then there was the tallest tower, rising above everything else. Guards who stood up there had a view of the entire valley, every road, every hill, every possible direction an army could come from. But the wind up there was brutal. It was so high that the guards often started talking to themselves just to stay sane. Oswin didn't mind. He would simply say, "From up there, the mind sees clearly," while everyone else wondered why their watchmen were slowly losing their grip on reality. But the most brilliant part of the castle was hidden beneath it. Deep underground, Oswin built a secret tunnel that led to a river far outside the castle walls. During a siege, when enemies would try to starve out the defenders by cutting off supplies, the people inside would simply walk down the tunnel, collect fresh water, and continue living comfortably while the attackers waited and suffered. No water shortage meant no surrender, which means this castle simply didn't fall. People eventually realized Oswin wasn't just strange, he was brilliant. His castle wasn't just stone and mortar. It was a living machine. Every corner, every window, every slope of the floor was designed to confuse, exhaust, and frustrate anyone who tried to conquer it. And it worked. Today, we build houses for comfort, big windows, open rooms, cozy lighting. But medieval castles, they were built with one message in mind: if you come here to fight, you will regret it. And behind many of those designs was someone like Oswin, a person who saw the world differently, thought sideways, and proved that sometimes genius and madness are only one stone apart.